Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. And if you've been keeping up to date with some of the work that I've been doing on the car, you would have seen that the bottom of the engine is off. So basically working from bottom up, because this particular engine has what I believe is a blowing gasket between cylinders 4 and 2, which sits side by side at the back here. That really was after a compression test that I did, because the engine was really finding it difficult to start. So it could be a whole host of things, but I did a compression test just to make sure that the cylinders were good, and that's when it basically discovered that there was a drop in pressure between those two cylinders, which could suggest that there's a blowing gasket between the two cylinders. The other options, checking oil and white residue potentially on the oil, hasn't occurred and not occurred. The engine's never overheated. It's always been a very strong engine, and the fan's always kicked in when necessary. Coolant wise, it's never dropped or leaked or lost coolant, so I can and again done the coolant gas test, and there's no sort of present emissions, exhaust gases that have come through in the coolant, so those are two good signs. But basically the work I've had to do is complete the bottom of the engine rebuild first, because the bottom of the engine was leaking pretty badly, so the gaskets had gone. So there's a couple of videos about how I've done that, the steps I've gone through to do that, so hopefully useful for everyone. And then next is putting that all back together and getting this car back down and starting to strip the engine from top down. So really working through some of the component pieces from the fuel system down, and renewing and refurbishing any of those parts that need doing, just to give the car a bit of a new lease of life. These engines are pretty good actually in terms of reliability. They're a non-interference engine, so for those that might have the worry of timing belts, cam belts potentially snapping and stuff, if that does happen on this particular car, you don't have the nightmare of pistons and valves and so on hitting each other. So the engine is pretty bulletproof. You can't really do too much to increase its power. It's a 125 brake horsepower 2 litre, this particular engine. So from that perspective, it's a pretty decent engine once it's fully maintained with all the right bits working pretty good. Then the car moves quite well. So what I'll do is I'll take you on a little tour of the engine and some of the parts that I'm going to be going through to get the engine working back to its normal way. So let's go for that. So as you can see here, this is the cover for the timing belt, and that's one of the jobs I'm going to probably do as I'm rebuilding the bottom, because if you can see down here, these pulleys, so you've got the fan belt connected down there. Behind this cover is another pulley which the timing belt sits on, and I've got to remove that pulley down here and change the front seal of the engine, which is always good to do when you've got the bottom of the engine off, so it's pretty easy. Likewise, changing the fan belt, all of those good things, timing belt. I've looked, and this car, when I did get it a few years ago, did have a timing belt change, and I think potentially it's had a head gasket done a few years back, which is a shame it has blown. You see the new studs that are on the exhaust there, so all of that would come off and new gaskets under there, so it looks like that has potentially been done before, and the previous person who owned this did say that the top of the engine had been done in some way, shape or form. So, but there's no, real detailed evidence of that. So yeah, I'll crack through that and see what we find. So we'll just go down underneath the car, and you can see that the bottom of the engine is off, and you can see the flywheel there, and apologies for the light not being great, but yeah, so basically this part here, just in there, you can see the bottom of the timing belt just sat there. Hopefully it will focus in a little bit, but yeah, so just here you can see there's a pulley that I have to remove, and then basically in this part of the engine here, bottom of the block, is the seal. So it's like a little toothpick tool, you just flick it out, squeeze a new one in with a bit of oil, and that'll be fine. But yeah, that's where the front seals go, and then obviously where the bottom of the engine connects, and the sump and so on. So that is a job coming up very soon, to get all that back together, rebuilding the suspension, and yeah, front cross member and so on. So as you can see, I've got new gas struts, new wishbones and bushes and so on. But I'll do a proper tour of the car once I get the bottom of the engine back in, and yeah, we'll have a look around. But yeah, for now, just really wanted to give everyone a quick update on sort of where I am and the next steps that I'll be going through. So yeah, hopefully it's useful, and stay tuned, and yeah, any questions let me know, and happy to answer. Thanks for watching. Hi everyone, this is the final bits being refurbished, the steering rack and the bottom of the engine. Enjoy. Okay, so as you can see, strip back as much as I can, ready for some primer, and all done with trusted old steel brush and a bit of sanding to bring it back as best to metal. So yeah, all degreased, cleaned, ready for painting. Let's go.